Today on DNVR Buffs Live, we got spicy quotes coming from opponents. We are so back. 4 days to game day. Let's talk all about it.
Bull Nation!
Let's go!
Squad! Oh man, it's game week. Get fired up, get ready. It's time. Welcome into the Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. We waited 8 long months for this. And my gosh, we are fully back. We got opposing teams just walking into the trap again. Oh man. Welcome back to football season.
Also, a couple people referencing the new video there. Not a new intro, but a little promo for the new supporters club, which I feel like, actually, I have been telling everyone Buffs fans are going to dominate the supporters club because I know a lot of you guys spend a lot of time on YouTube. Maybe you're not, popping around at all the other DNVR things that we do, but we have so many big time YouTube users here, and the supporters club is all about YouTube. It's now a membership club that you can join here for DNVR on our YouTube channel that gives you access to custom emojis, which you already seen in the chat. I saw someone throwing the wrist up in there. Fire. So we have all sorts of really cool things, and if you become a Hall of Fame level member, you're going to get a behind the scenes video every week of what we do here at DNVR. And honestly, some of our best conversations happen behind the scenes. So I'm excited for you guys to check that out too. But shout out to everyone who will and has already joined the supporters club. And I heard a little birdie that we are 12 away from 50, which unlocks another emoji slot for us to put in there. We've got all sorts of cool ones. So
we're doing that today.
I already said, oh yeah, we got that on this show.
Yep.
We'll get 12 more. So thanks in advance to the 12 of you who get us over 50 and then everyone else who gets us past that.
Let's get it.
Scotty, welcome back. We missed you.
Hey, I miss y'all boys too, man. I tapped in a little bit on Thursday and Friday for some great content. I'm excited to get into more of it today. You had a great conversation with our guy Bryce, who covers Georgia Tech out there. I'm excited to dive into that a little bit. And it is game week. I told y'all. Unk said it perfectly. I told y'all game day was eventually coming.
This man told you August 29th.
I told y'all August 29th there was going to be a football game, and lo and behold, 4 days away, and there's a football game on August 29th.
I
tried to tell him.
No one else could have done it. No one else could have done it. This is why we keep you around, Scotty.
Oh, God.
All right. Lots to get to today. We will talk Farmageddon, reactions, analysis to Iowa State's win over Kansas State. We got a new flip target who's emerged. We'll talk what Pat Shurmur and Robert Livingston said after practice today. But, yeah, we start with Georgia Tech. And they're talking.
Can't help it.
We got to thank them for that.
Will anyone ever learn?
No.
No, bro. It's too enticing, bro, when you're asked about Coach Prime and Colorado and the Buffaloes. And even though Shador and Travis aren't there anymore, it's just too enticing to take even a veiled shot. And some people might not see it as that, but we'll get to. I'm sure we're gonna play the clip, right? Yeah. We'll talk about it and we'll see what was said.
You can't help but say, and see how far those Instagram followers get them.
It's always some variation of that right there, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we have Dan Lanning to thank for that one, actually. All right, so this is video of Clayton Powell-Lee, defensive back over there at Georgia Tech.
Safety.
Speaking to the media today, and he was asked about, coming to Boulder, playing Colorado. Here's what he had to say.
Any thoughts on playing in the elevation or facing this crowd or just in general going out to Colorado?
Everybody says it's a different experience, but I've experienced some crazy stadiums since being here. So just knowing that, not trying to overhype it, honestly, like it's another game. I know they bring out celebrities, they do all this crazy stuff, but we're playing football. Then none of them playing. They can hype you up all they want to, but you on the field, not them. Exactly, like, come on. So, yeah, just playing fast, like, not dwelling on that type of stuff. Like, that's all I can say.
And that's what I mean when I say they can't help it, because he was specifically asked about, what do you make of the elevation? Right. And he's get to talking about celebrities. Bro, that's not what you were even asked.
That part.
So clearly that's what you wanted to say. That was on your chest. That was on your mind. And
I got one.
Glad he said it.
Yeah.
Cinema. Can't wait.
Could we hear what the little interjection was from the media? Has anyone put
I don't know.
I couldn't either.
Sounded like he was agreeing with them. Like he was like, yeah, they get crazy or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like Lil Wayne's not gonna be out there. That's what I feel like they said.
Low key.
I just love this, man. I love that everyone does this and gives us a little something to talk about today. But I got to take it another direction, because this adds up perfectly with something when we were talking with Bryce the other day about this, and we have that clip too. You said it, Scotty. He was asked about the elevation. And look, the elevation can sometimes be overplayed.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times it can be underplayed. And it's the reason why I asked Bryce about this when we talked to him the other day, because when you're a team from Georgia, who usually plays in the South, it is something that I believe you have to take very seriously and prepare for and think about. And everything that I've heard coming into this game doesn't tell me that they are prepared for it. Heck, the last time a team from Georgia, I think, came to Boulder, it was the Bulldogs when I was in college. And they took the L, and they tapered off at the end of the game, especially.
Sure.
So I love that part, because I feel like that is being overlooked. And Alyssa, if we could just play now the clip of us talking to Bryce, and you guys can check out this full video on the channel. This was interesting, and obviously, he's speaking not on behalf of the team, but I found it was interesting that it hasn't necessarily been a big topic of conversation.
Altitude, yes.
Last one, and then we'll let you go. Is there any, or how much of a conversation is there about the altitude coming from Atlanta up to Boulder?
Yeah, it's interesting. I know a lot of fans have been kind of going back and forth on social media about this, because they're like, well, we traveled to Ireland last year, so the travel aspect shouldn't be a big deal. And, I've talked with some people out there, that have already made the trip in terms of Georgia Tech fans that are kind of making a whole vacation out of it. And, they've even noticed going around Boulder in the area, like it's different and it's maybe something you're not used to. And I think it's something they're mindful of. I don't know and can't really speak to what it's like to practice in the humidity of Atlanta in August to then go out to Boulder and play in that. I myself have never been out there. And I think it's something that's necessarily is pretty interesting, because you have to worry about the conditioning and what they've been able to do. And Key's talked a little bit about it kind of behind closed doors in terms of maybe ways that they've tried to go about in terms of making sure guys are conditioned, making sure they understand, how you prepare and how you acclimate to what when you get out there and what are the steps you need to take to that. So it's something on the radar. It's not something Georgia Tech's been very public about, I would say. And so just kind of talking with some people in and around the program, they're conscious of it. They hope and they do not believe it should be an issue. But you guys know this, being out there. I mean, there's some teams that make that trip out there and they're not used to it. And it takes a while to get to. And I think the hope is you hope you're not either too far behind or you haven't played around too much to where you're trailing on the road and now you're finally acclimating, midway through the second quarter.
They hope and they believe that it won't play a big factor. Well, hope is not a plan. And again, this is just Bryce passing along what he's heard to us. I'm not going at him by any stretch of the mind. But if I were Georgia Tech and I was running the program, I would have come out last week, like this week or last week, and I would have asked like Air Force or someone like that, like, hey, can we share practice with you? And have a full week of acclimation. Here's the reason why. Because you're not even in game shape yet.
Nope.
You can't be. There's no way to be. And so that already is going to present a challenge for you. Just getting, your feet back under you when you go into a game for the first time in months. When you combine that with the altitude, the effect of the altitude, those lungs are going to be burning, especially early in the game. And you'll get fatigued a little faster. So someone in the comments said they're coming out a day early. That's something a lot of teams try to do. I just think the combination of the altitude adjustment with it being the first game of the season and you not being in game shape is a bigger deal than they're allowing it to be.
We see it every spring when new players finally get on the football field out here in Colorado. And they spent their whole lives playing youth football, high school football down in Georgia, Florida, all those areas. And they come to Colorado, and they're the ones hugging a trash can for the first week of spring football and fall camp.
True.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And it takes them, and they talk about it. Hakeem talked about it when we spoke to him last week, how it takes time. This isn't something that you just show up, oh, this is one day, this is how it's going to be, I know what's better to do tomorrow. It's not like that. Like, as you said, lungs are going to be burning. When that fourth quarter hits, you're going to feel a different type of tired that you haven't felt, except for maybe, the last sprint of your, worst day of camp type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, there's quite literally less oxygen in the air.
Yeah.
I swear. And you mentioned it there at the end, RK. Georgia Tech quarterback Haynes King spoke to me today, and he said that their plan is to come out a day earlier than they would usually for road games, but I don't know if that one extra day is going to make a difference, especially when you're not going to be going full blast, the Tuesday,
Once
Wednesday,
there,
Thursday,
yeah.
right, before you're just not doing it. You're not going to get, your lungs kind of acclimated in that quick of a time period. And you mentioned Hakeem. Sincere Brown brought it up as well last week. He obviously had a slow start to camp.
You're right.
And he kind of attributed, like, listen, I had to get my lungs right, figure out how to really breathe out here. That was a real adjustment for him. And something we didn't really see a lot with this offense last year was fast starts. And this would be a really good opportunity to get out to a fast start, use the elevation that you've been training in all offseason to your advantage, and kind of get up early and make Georgia Tech come back when they might not have their full kind of lungs and breath underneath them or with them.
Mm-hmm. Or being in game shape.
Well, and I've seen, covering sports and watching sports here my whole life, I've seen teams do all sorts of different things. Some teams actually try to come later because they feel like the altitude effect doesn't hit your body as soon, so then they'll come later. Some teams come earlier. Like I'll remember there was a Nebraska coach back in the day, their basketball coach, who said, who was asked about the altitude, he said, "I'm pretty sure the game is being played indoors."
Smart.
Hell yeah.
That's Nebraska education for you. But no, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, it's not going to be the story, but it is something that I just have found now 2 different times it kind of be set aside.
Right.
And so I just kind of like jot that down as a note. It's like, interesting. They're trying to not make a big deal out of this. We'll see how that works out.
The people who try, sorry, Scotty,
Go ahead.
people who try not to make a big deal out of this have literally never experienced it. They don't know what they're walking into half the time.
Even if you go from here to the mountains, which I guess is a similar, adjustment from, we're already used to being at altitude, but you go
Feel
from
it.
5,000 to 10,000 feet in like Vail, and you go for a hike, you will feel it.
Okay, slight story time. I played football at high school in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Mile High. We went to Alamosa, Adams State for a football camp before our senior year. That's only 2,000 more feet above, 7,000 something. That was winded, just gassed. I mean, it's a different feeling. You don't even understand what you're walking into.
Got to use it. Got to use it.
All right, we'll get to a little bit more from our talk with Bryce and pressers on the other side of this break. If you're looking for a home, hit up our friends over at American Financing. Everyone wants to come out to Colorado these days, and I mean, it's easy to see why. We're officially in a buyer's market. You've got the upper hand. More homes on the market. Competition is down. Serious deals are out there just waiting to be found. Now you can get pre-approved American Financing in 24 hours or less, whether you're a first-time home buyer looking to upgrade or downsize. When you work with American Financing and their partner, American Home Agents, you can save an additional 1% up to $10,000 on your home loan. So if you've been sitting on the sidelines, it's time to step in, and American Financing is the place to start. Don't let the 20% down myth stop you. You can buy a home with as little as 3% down, and with down payment assistance programs available, getting into a home might be easier than you think. Hit them up, 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000. Or AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Also, shout out to our friends over at Kerr's Lot. You know what it is? It's football season.
Hell yeah.
It's football season, which means Coors Light consumption is going through the roof. We got a tailgate for all, any and all, this Friday at the stadium. We'll be throwing back some Coors Lights there. It's just such a beautiful time to be alive. Drinking Coors Light, watching football, hanging out with your friends. It's the best. It's time to chill. And so when you are looking to make the most of the times you want to chill, hit up our friends over at Coors Light. You can get it delivered straight to your door by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Check it out. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
All right, so we talked with our guy Bryce from the Crowded Booth about this Georgia Tech matchup. Go watch the entire video on our YouTube channel right now. But we'll get into this on the other side more so. But he said something when talking about Georgia Tech's defense that I think both of our ears kind of perked up a little bit, going, oh, interesting. So here's Bryce talking about really kind of where Georgia Tech struggled last year when it comes to their worst performances.
I think it was just one of those tactics to keep everybody focused.
From a Georgia Tech perspective, when you look at this game and you say, okay, if the Yellow Jackets do this, I think they have a really great chance to win.
Yeah, one thing they struggled with a lot last year was containing quarterbacks that can hurt you in different ways, right? And that's probably an issue for a lot of teams across the country. But it's kind of an interesting tactic because they really have a completely revamped front seven, especially along that defensive line. Jordan Vandenberg, former Penn State transfer, was really good late in the year for them. He's the lone guy that returns with significant snaps. So you're going to have him at one of those two defensive tackle spots. So, when you have a guy like Caden Salter that, you turn on the tape, you see what he can do, and, at Liberty, if that can translate, that could be a problem for Georgia Tech in just the different ways that he could hurt you. And it also kind of just, stays with being gap sound. I mean, I know it sounds so coach speak, but Georgia Tech, when they struggled last year, when those valleys hit, they lost some, gap integrity up front. They would lose a pursuit. They'd lose protecting the edge, and you'd be able to bounce runs off of them. So that, to me, is something that I think that's the worry part of it. If Salter gets going and the crowd feeds off of it, and before you know it, your back's against the wall in the end zone and you've allowed a 60, 70-yard drive, that's when it's, one of those things where they've got good athletes, and I think better athletes than they've had the past couple of years, but you've got to stay assignment sound football. And then I think the other part to it is, that early game last year against Syracuse where Kyle McCord just slung the ball all over them. And that was a game where for a lot of Tech fans, it was kind of one of those things where this guy's just beating us and they're not even having to run the ball. I don't know, and you guys can speak to it, how much Colorado is going to be able to I don't know how heavy they're going to be in that department of just going back and slinging it. Probably not to the extent they were the previous couple of years.
Yep.
But that's something, too. Another thing, revamped secondary. You have a couple of returners, but you've also got some guys going to be making starts next Friday night for the first time in a Georgia Tech uniform. So As much as Colorado fans can attest to this, this is the first test for Georgia Tech with this 11 on starting defense. And I'm intrigued to see what it looks like when they go up against someone who they don't maybe recognize the calls. They don't know the plays of the formations like the back of their hand. You've done film study, but it's not the same group that you've been butting heads with for the past couple of weeks.
If a Coach Prime team is facing another team and you're telling me it's a rebuilt secondary, it's time to fire up the grill.
Yeah. That's not what stood out to me from that, though.
That's the one that stood out to me.
Obviously these receivers are so dynamic, and any team that is questionable in the secondary might be in trouble in that regard. But when he mentioned not being able to contain the quarterback, that's when my eyes really lit up, because that is just this new world that we live in, where Colorado has a quarterback who can hurt you in multiple ways. And it affects everything you want to do on defense. It affects whether your ends can crash down to stop the run. It affects whether you can play man coverage on big downs, especially in short yardage situations. It impacts everything you're going to do. And a lot of teams struggle. It's not unique to Georgia Tech to struggle against this. It's just incredibly difficult to stop a quarterback who's as dynamic as Caden Salter. And so, just from some of the stuff we've heard, thinking about what Colorado might want to do in their game plan here, I think you're going to give Caden a chance to hurt them with his legs early and often. And then at the same time, I hadn't really thought about this until we got into this altitude conversation. But if you're able to run the ball successfully, it really opens up the hurry up game for you. Because it's hard to hurry up after an incompletion,
Right.
Like, you got to have the ball moving, you got to have the clock running, you got to get up and just go. And so even, it doesn't have to be your entire plan, but throwing potentially in the first drive some hurry up out there could be really, really effective in this game.
Yeah, that is some really insightful stuff right there, because as Bryce talked about there, Georgia Tech was really susceptible to quarterback run last year. I'm looking at 3 games in particular. Their loss to Notre Dame, Riley Leonard, 10 for 51 on the ground and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Against North Carolina, Jacoby Criswell, 73 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns from the quarterback spot. They played NC State, CJ Bailey, 83 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground from their quarterback. This defense was susceptible to quarterback run last year, and Caden Salter, that's a big part of his game. That's something that Coach Shurmur talked about today, has really impressed him. When things break down, his ability to make things play or make things happen with his legs, and also the design stuff, right? The zone read, the quarterback draw, the quarterback counter, a lot of the stuff that Georgia Tech actually uses offensively. And also the play action stuff that sets up when you can actually run the ball like you're talking about, whether it be the quarterback run or the running back. That plays to Caden Salter's strengths. And I wrote about that today on the site, the DNVR.com. We got a sale going right now as well. $36 for first year. Make sure you become a diehard. We got some elite content. Just
2 of them dropped today. Yeah.
2 of them dropped today, Jake and I. So go check that out. Make sure you become a diehard. It's the perfect time to do it. But in that story I wrote today, and I mentioned it, Caden Salter on play action passing the last 2 seasons, 130 passer rating, 27 touchdowns, 4 interceptions on play action passes for Caden Salter the last 2 years. That's the recipe. Get him involved in the run game. Get Michael Welch, DeKalen Taylor opportunities in the run game. And when they are forced, especially with let's call it a new secondary, throw it over their head. Because again, with that, Caden Salter is one of the best deep ball throwers in college football the last 2 seasons as well. So that right there is the recipe. Establish the run early on with your quarterback and your running backs. And then once Georgia Tech kind of says, all right, we got to do something about this, it's bombs away.
Yep. That's perfectly said right there. Last year and the last 2 years really, Colorado challenged teams vertically, no doubt, right? You had to play too deep against them. You knew what they were going to do. They were trying to throw the ball all over the yard. They did stress you horizontally a bit. It was mostly in the screen game, though, right?
Yep.
They're truly going to test teams sideline to sideline, end zone to end zone this year with what they can do on offense. The Caden Salter and the run game factor with him, what Bryce said about being gap sound, that you have to do that against Caden Salter. If you're not gap sound against Caden Salter, you're probably going to lose the football game. And it's going to look ugly.
It just takes one miss, one person out of position, one person when their eyes not on the right spot or out of position, 60 yards.
Yeah. So, that's what that's how running teams succeed too,
Yes.
right? Like when you look at those all 22 like replays of big runs and stuff, it's always the commentator circling one guy. Yep. See this linebacker, he went to the B gap instead of the A gap, and now they're 70 yards down the field. Yeah. It's gonna look a lot different. It's gonna be a hell of a lot of fun, but this is gonna be an exciting offense that really challenges defenses across the board.
And that's difficult to game plan for anytime. But it's especially difficult to game plan for Georgia Tech coming into this game because they are just, we have as good of an idea of anyone how Colorado's going to game plan for this game, and we don't really have an idea.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
Like we have a thought of what we think they're going to try and do, but we have no idea what types of packages and stuff they want to throw out there to throw off Georgia Tech. So they're going to be figuring this stuff out on the fly with a very inexperienced defense, maybe not from playing individually, but playing together. And so, I mean, this is a real opportunity for Pat Shurmur to quiet some of the hate, quiet some of the comments that have been made about him this offseason, show that he can take advantage of a really advantageous position from an offensive play calling perspective and go out there and, like you said, put pressure and stress on the defense from sideline to sideline and end zone to end zone.
Yep. It's going to be fun, man. Cannot wait. Speaking of Pat Shurmur, he was on the podium today. Robert Livingston as well. Coach Prime tomorrow. That's how you know we're fully back. When we just get the whole head coach and brass.
Yes.
So, yeah, Pat Shurmur was up first today. Here he is. He was asked about the quarterback competition, whether he was ready to name a starter. He gave his answer we'll get into. But also, here's him just talking about his relationship with Caden Salter and how that's grown kind of over the last 8 months or so.
I think Coach will handle all that. I mean, we've discussed all of this at great length behind the scenes, and we'll just let it reveal itself. And then if there are any announcements, that's certainly something that Coach Prime will handle.
Have you been happy with what you've seen out of both?
I have. I feel like they've developed quite a bit. I think they're really fine players to begin with, both at different stages of their career. But I'm happy with the way that they've developed as quarterbacks, but then also within our scheme. And so look forward to seeing how far we've come this Friday.
What are some of the strengths that come with the different stages that both guys are at?
Well, certainly Caden, the experience of having played in a bunch of games in the college level. You know, there's really no substitute, in my opinion, for good experience, right? I mean, you can copy people's knowledge, but you can't copy their wisdom. And I think as you get older and play more, you become wise in situations that you maybe haven't experienced. Juju's super talented. He's seen a lot, and he'll be able to roll with it. And hopefully, to this point, we've given him things to work with, and we've trained him on what to see. And really, when you play quarterback, it's much like being a fisherman, right? You know what you're looking for, know when you see it, and then when it's time to cast or pull the trigger, you pull the trigger. And I think that's what you do when you train the quarterbacks. I think on our short journey here, you know, you never really know. I mean, we grabbed them obviously, you know, as a transfer, and you get to know him quickly in the recruiting process. And I anticipated what I was going to see, but he's a tough, gritty guy. And then you get to work with him. He studies it very hard. He has a pretty good view of the big picture. You know, that 3- and 4-dimensional thing that you need as a quarterback. And he's obviously a tremendous athlete that, you know, if the situation presents itself, can do some good things with his legs, you know. So I'm looking forward to putting him out there, see what he can do. But I'm really, I've grown to, you know, I guess you could say it. I've kind of grown to love the player during this process. Now we're going to take him, or I'm going to try to help guide him through this next phase, which is playing games for us.
We take a break.
Let's take a break.
What a tease.
We'll dig into it on the other side. Shout out to our friends over at Monarch Money. Everyone's trying to save a little bit of money right now. And Monarch Money is just like having a personal CFO in your pocket. It's a cool app that just lays out everything when it comes to your money, where it's coming in from, where it's going out to, all the subscriptions, credit cards, investments. Just helps you make wiser, smarter decisions with your money. And right now, listeners can get 50% off your first year at Monarch Money. It's the top-rated finance app by thousands of professionals. And it's named the best budgeting app of 2025 by the Wall Street Journal as well. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code DNVR at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. Again, 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code DNVR.
Y'all know what tomorrow is? Taco Tuesday. Shout out to the squad, our good friends, our new friends over at Taco Bell. It's the best place to celebrate a Taco Tuesday, especially with the new Buffs box, which is now available with Taco Bell classics at a ridiculously amazing price of just $7. And for those $7, you get a cheesy gordita crunch,
Bang.
a beefy 5-layer burrito,
Bang.
a Doritos Locos taco,
Bang.
cinnamon twist,
Bang.
and a large fountain drink. And perhaps maybe even the coolest part is that fountain drink, that large fountain drink, will contain, or damn, I do this again. I did it again. What
Will feature?
It will feature, yeah, sure. A branded. It'll come in to see you, branded to you, Buffs box, but that player collector cup featuring either Jordan Seaton, Julian Juju Lewis, Jalen Miller, or Quentin Gibson, aka Q46. It's available for a limited time only at participating Colorado Taco Bell locations. And for every Buffs touchdown this year, and there's going to be a lot, y'all. There's going to be a lot. Taco Bell will donate $1,000 to the CU Athletic Scholarship Fund for every Buffs touchdown this year. So pick up your Buffs box today at your nearest Taco Bell, and shout out to Taco Bell. Give me a little ring real quick while you got that thing next to you, man. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Shout out Taco Bell, man. Shout out Monarch Money as well.
Back to Pat Shurmur, though.
Yeah.
That might be the most glowing review you can give of a player, given the context that it's Pat Shurmur, who doesn't, show a lot of emotion or, give a lot of excitement. But a few things there, just to recap there, what he said about Caden Salter. He called him tough and gritty. He said that he has a pretty good view of the big picture, the 3- and 4-dimensional thing that you need as a quarterback. He called him a tremendous athlete. And then he goes on to say, I guess you can kind of say I've kind of grown to love this player during this process. That sounds like a starting quarterback to me. And that sounds like somebody who has really impressed Pat Shurmur throughout the spring, throughout fall camp. And I'll say it again because this is the perfect time to say it. No returning FBS quarterback has more total touchdowns over the last 2 seasons than Caden Salter's 66. This is a former Conference USA MVP, a former Group of 5 Player of the Year. And I think over the last couple of weeks, I think he has begun to peak in this offense. His comfortability has begun to peak in this offense. And I think Pat Shurmur's comfortability has really begun to peak with Caden Salter. And I'm excited about what he's going to put on display on Friday. I said it to y'all before the show, like, he might go crazy. And that's going to launch him up into the Heisman Trophy conversation, which, it's still early, but that's what's gonna happen.
Look, everyone loves Shador. Everyone loves Juju. But I think Caden Salter's like such a breath of fresh air for this team. Just his dual threat ability, just as an offensive coordinator, it's kind of like a coach's dream, really. I mean, the playbook just seems kind of limitless at that point. Like all these, options and stuff. Like there's always like, oh, but what if we put in this little wrinkle instead of doing this, we go this way, and instead of going to the motion, and we actually go away from it.
I mean, that's the triple option, like the basis of football as we know it.
So I love that Pat Shurmur's kind of glowing about what he's got in Caden Salter because he's probably had a ton of fun building this offense.
Yeah,
I hope so, man, and I hope that Pat allows himself to be creative, and I hope that he, was watching Week 0 games this weekend because I saw some unbelievable job by some offensive coordinators.
Definitely,
Iowa State's offensive coordinator was cooking with using Rocco Becht as a runner.
Yep,
and then. Credit where it's due. Jalen Daniels looked amazing, and I think a big part of it had to do with the fact that they schemed it up for that game. They were making those linebackers in Fresno. They had them on a string, going wherever they wanted them.
There is one more competition, or there was one more competition for a position on the starting offense. That center competition. That's what we heard from the offensive line coaches last week. I asked Pat Shurmur about it today, and it sounds like they decided on someone. We'll find out who, though.
we feel like there has been, and that'll reveal itself on game day. But we like both players a great deal. Unfortunately, only one of them can start. But whatever happens, it takes a village up there, and there's going to be a scenario this year where we're going to need more than one. So that's where that guy that's not starting has to be ready to roll, and then also be ready to play another position. I'm from the world where you dress 7 or 8 linemen, so you got your front 5, and then you got a backup at center/guard, and then you got a backup at tackle/guard, and so that's a process they have to learn also if they're going to move on in their career. Because if you're not the starter, then you got to be somewhat multiple, so that if we get dinged in a certain position, you can go in and play.
So he talks about playing multiple positions there, obviously, right? And he's totally right. It sounds to me, though, that's what he's saying to Cooper Loveless, because Darren McGill is probably going to be the starting center, and Cooper has played well through camp, but you're going to need probably a guard, a tackle, and a center at certain times this year, and Cooper can kind of do it all, too.
Swiss Army knife on that offensive line, along with Kareem Harden, who's been called that as well throughout fall camp. Like, those two guys that I just mentioned, Kareem and Cooper, I don't expect them to start, but they're going to play. And there was another thing that Coach Shurmur said today, I don't think it was in that clip, where he said later, he goes, we didn't want to use 6 linemen last year. He said, we struggled to find 5. And that's obviously a lot different, at least at this point, with this group this year. Coach Primus said it, they can throw out 8 to 9 guys.
Yep.
I think Coach Gunner kind of echoed that sentiment as well. And I think Cooper, Kareem are probably the 6th and 7th man potentially. Mm-hmm. But this offensive line, man, is going to be so much improved. I think we're going to see evidence of that as early as this Friday. And that offensive line improvement, most notably the additions of Zy Crisler and Xavier Hill, I've said it, are my biggest reasons for optimism of why this offense is finally going to find a running game and why this offense is finally going to find some balance.
Quick shout out to Carrie, who just became a member of the Supporters Club.
Let's go, Carrie.
You can join Carrie and several others by becoming a member of the Supporters Clubs for as low as $5 a month.
I also watched the behind-the-scenes video yesterday. You can kind of get in on one of our post-show conversations if you...
Nice.
See, I got to upgrade. I just clicked the first button, and then I got to figure out how to upgrade. Because I saw someone earlier, it said, like, they upgraded their membership. So I'm like, oh,
yeah,
it can be done. I just got to find the right button to click.
No, I did the same. Then I realized I have to be Hall of Fame to watch the video. So I immediately did that so I could watch that video. Okay. That's it from Pat Shurmur today. Other things he talked about.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
Why is the starting quarterback thing even a... Like, I feel like we're just going back to... Like, it seems pretty obvious who the starting quarterback is. Why are we even asking?
I didn't ask that.
I didn't either.
I'm mostly just looking... Don't you guys agree that, like, it's not really a storyline right now?
I think the question that was posed to Pat today was, like, is there going to be an announcement, right? And, like, obviously we all know we know that Kane's going to be a starter. We're assuming that, but, like, that was the question posed to Shurmur today. Was like, will there be an announcement? And I would assume that would just come with a depth chart if we get one before Friday. But I think we've all been saying for some time now. We'll find out officially the first play of the game.
Or maybe we won't.
Oh, maybe they're both out there. But yeah, I don't know.
Pat Shurmur did talk about Georgia Tech a little bit. They have a new defensive coordinator, and he talked about that uncertainty that they're potentially facing there. So as much as we talk about Colorado kind of having that upper hand of being like a complete unknown, Georgia Tech's going to have a bit of that against this offense as well. To Coach Rob, though, here's him speaking on the pass rush. But there's last year it really was kind of a top-heavy defense, right? Like, we saw it when Shiloh went down, when Nakai was hurt. Like, they just didn't really have great third options for a lot of guys. So here's Coach Rob just on a big reason of optimism why this defense can be a lot better in year 2.
Yeah, I think the sky's the limit. We talk about that's our new standard. The guys that paved the way for that, the BJ Greens of the world, and they did a great job. And so they've seen what it looks like and what it's like to be disruptive, I should say. So I think we're really deep there. I think we got 5-6 guys that can play for us, and we'll cycle them through. I think our hopefully our fastball this year is our depth, so guys are playing 30, 35 plays and not 60 or 65 when it comes to the fourth quarter and we need to stop. So excited to see that group. They've done a great job. Coach Elo is as good as it gets in the country. I want that guy in my foxhole with me, and I know they'll be coached up right.
I mean, shoot, man, if this team has guys, starters playing 35 snaps a game and it's good quality snaps and you're able to seriously like platoon guys in on the defensive line and the secondary, watch out.
And you're able to keep your guys fresh while the opponent might be dealing with the impact of elevation. That is going to be a game changer. And we've talked about it. Players, coaches, this defensive front, this front seven, let's call it the defensive line, edge and interior, they're going to have waves of guys to throw at you. Like there are, let's call it 6 dudes interchangeable, interior edge, or like, well, they could be a starter. They could play the majority of the game and nobody would bat an eye and be very impactful. And that depth is just something that has been building year by year since Coach Shurmur's got here. And I think it's hit a peak, at least so far, up to this point where this defensive front, I've said it all offseason, I think this is going to be a defensive-led team, especially early on in the season. And they're going to be led by the guys up front, I think, with some dogs in the back end, the DJ McKinneys, the Preston Hodges of the world and whatnot.
This is a hilarious comment from Master Stick Work who said, "You well-off wizards gonna drive yourself crazy with this guessing this and that."
Well-off
wizards is insane.
Last thing from pressers today. Here's Coach Livingston just talking about his impression of Georgia Tech and their quarterback, Haynes King.
I feel like you've been getting ready for the last 6 months, so you've almost watched too much. They're a physical group. Obviously, it starts with the head coach, his mindset. The offensive coordinator's done a phenomenal job. They're as unique as anybody in the country. If you want proof of that, just watch the Georgia game. So it's a phenomenal challenge. I'm sure they'll be fired up to play, and so will we. So it'll be a great test. I hate to let the coach speak. I don't like to compare just because I don't want to get myself in trouble. Sure. I will say he is an elite competitor. Like, you feel him on every play. And I think offensively, they go as he goes, right? We say he's the straw that stirs the drink. I mean, the kid will make a 35-yard out route, and the next play he's running counter OT through the A-gap, right? I mean, he's what college football is about, right? If you look at his career and what he's done and when he's gotten his opportunities, he's made the most of them. So he's a heck of a player. I'll shake his hand after the game. I got a son that hopefully will be what he is down the road. So excited to see that.
That was cool at the end. He said he's got a son. Hope I be like Haynes King one day. That's a pretty cool compliment.
I mean, he's kind of right. Like players like Haynes King, who grinded out through injuries and stuff, and they go to another team and they end up being like a true kind of like national breakout guy. Like, that's the stuff that really fires up a fan base. So I totally get like where Georgia Tech and their fans are coming from with the hype and excitement coming into this game. And obviously Robert Livingston showed them the respect as well. You got to take this guy seriously. It's like playing NDSU again, man.
With bigger, stronger, faster people.
Yep.
You talking about the hype around Haynes King too. Kirk Herbstreit this weekend picked Haynes King as his nation's most under-the-radar player.
He's getting a lot of hype.
For sure. And this is not trying to take away from Haynes King, but I think that Georgia Tech game was the only Georgia Tech game people watched last year.
For sure.
Yeah.
And again, it was an incredible game with some amazing performances.
They probably watched the opener too against Florida State. That was it though.
For sure.
The bookends, first and last game.
That game will make you feel really different if it happened at the beginning of the year rather than the end of the year, which it 100%.
Yep.
But anyways, I think that game's doing some heavy lifting for the way people feel about Georgia Tech this year. And again, I think they could be really good. They're a very formidable opening week opponent for Colorado. I'm not thinking that we're going to, cruise through this game by any stretch of the mind. But a lot of the national stuff I feel like is being fueled by a outstanding performance in a rivalry.
Yep.
Haynes can play, man. It's going to be a challenge for
sure.
this defense. I think this defense is going to rise to the challenge. I have the utmost respect. And that man we just heard from right there, Robert Livingston, to get this defense going. And even if it is a slow start for a second quarter, we know Robert Livingston's second half defense, they don't play. I like what he said too. He was like, you feel him on every play talking about Haynes King.
Oh, well, yeah, he's the engine.
With the power, the counter, all the quarterback run stuff uniquely that they run with him. He's a tough defend, tough cover.
I don't want to give away the whole video, but I asked Bryce about that too when we talked to him on Friday. Like, Can Haynes King actually get that much better? Or is it like, I mean, he's entering his 5th, 6th year, you know what I mean? Like, at some point you do cap out. Like, how much more room is there from last year, that Georgia game in particular, that he can really grow upon and we can point out on Friday and go, that wasn't there last time?
Probably not a lot, but if he plays like he played like that more consistently, then that's going to make them a very legit contender.
Totally.
What was the gist of his answer?
He mentioned, and I forgot about this too. He was kind of dealing with a shoulder injury in that game, so he wasn't even like full form in terms of being able to throw the football. But I mean, he laid it on the line as a runner in that football game. You kind of saw what you're going to get from Haynes King at his very best as a runner in that football game. Kind
of similar to my favorite Caden Salter stat. Only 2 quarterbacks over the last 2 seasons have more total touchdowns than Haynes King. It's Caden Salter and Cade Klubnik at Clemson. That's it. 64 total touchdowns for Haynes King over the last 2 seasons. That's some pretty elite production.
Yep. That's press conferences today. We'll be back up in Boulder tomorrow. Coach Prime will talk as well as a couple players. And we'll discuss all that tomorrow. A little bit of recruiting real quick. Another flip target has emerged for Coach Prime and the Buffs. Jamarcia?
Sure.
Jamarcia Platter.
Spell it.
Jamarcea.
Yeah.
Jamarcia?
Yeah.
I like what you said, though.
I think you did a good job.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sam Spiegelman at Rivals did a write-up on him. He's a current Wake Forest commit. On the Rivals rankings, he's a high 3-star player, 737th overall player, 45th ranked running back in the 2026 class. Again, he's committed to Wake Forest. And it sounds like Boise State and Colorado are trying to get in and flip him. He is from Shreveport, Louisiana, which we've talked a lot about Louisiana when it comes to recruiting, partially because of Coach Box, Coach Corey coming from Vandy. And that's what Sam Spiegelman mentions in this article.
I've been to Shreveport, Louisiana.
Isn't that where that bowl game is too?
Yeah.
Did you go for the game?
Yep.
How was it?
It's good.
We'll leave it at that. The quote from Platter on Colorado, the conversations have been good. We see eye to eye with my future goals, and that's to get on the field and make a name for myself. What mostly interests me is just the foundation that's being built between the coaches and players. Who wouldn't want to be coached by one of the greatest of all time? He followed up with. Corey Phillips also gets a mention in this, obviously, again, from the Boot State. Boom. But keep an eye on this name.
Kid's a dog, man.
I don't think we have a visit scheduled yet, but
another recent committed to Wake Forest in early June. He's only been committed there for 2 months. How many yards do you think he ran for last year?
1952.
Not enough.
Oh.
23-25.
Pretty close. 22-34.
Wow. My
29 touchdowns, 10.1 yards per carry.
Oh.
Also caught 23 passes for 250 yards, 11 yards a catch. Also a track guy. 10.74 in the 100, which is crazy speed. This is one of them ones, and I just love seeing the attention being put on the running backs coming out of the high school ranks for this program moving forward in the 2026 class and beyond, because eventually it's got to hit. That position got to, I think Michael Welch was a really good add in the 2024 class. Obviously didn't add any high school guys at their running back position in this 2025 class, but 2026, I'm expecting a dog at that running back position.
Quick shout out to the Nebraska fan in the comments. So little to do in Nebraska that you got to watch a Buff show. Honestly, we appreciate the views. I got to admit, man, they've never been so obsessed with us. It's kind of crazy. Like, they miss us a lot.
They have lived in my mentions.
I know.
All off season.
They miss us. Like,
yes.
I don't think they've felt anything.
I know.
Since that game.
I've seen, I can't even remember the score actually. 20-10, whatever it was. That's their favorite thing to type out.
Oh, I'm telling you, they haven't felt anything since then.
Yeah.
They're like coming back for us like addicts.
It's crazy.
They miss us dearly, and it honestly feels really good to be missed like that.
Y'all kind of gotta cut them some slack, bro, because all they have to talk about right now is this Dylan Raiola quote where he goes, "I can't get mad at God for making me look like him," and him being Patrick Mahomes. That's all Nebraska fans got to talk about.
Is
today.
his barber's name God?
Oh my God! That boy said, "Blame God for why I look like Patrick Mahomes."
I'm gonna start saying blame God. And then Matt Rule's got a podcast now. I mean, once you go through the House Rules show and then you catch up on the latest Dylan Raiola, Patrick Mahomes fan fiction, you got to watch something, I guess.
It's crazy, man.
It's fun. I love college football.
So good. Audric Estime got waived.
Saw that coming.
Takeaways on this weekend's games. 3 of them that we took picks on. I definitely watched Farmageddon, Iowa State, Kansas State.
Did you say that? Yes. That's funny as hell.
Any thoughts on Farmageddon? Who wants to start?
I'll start here. So many people were talking about how that was a bad game, and I couldn't disagree more.
Same, bro.
I'm so sick of these NFL bros
They're the
helicoptering
worst.
in to
Yes,
watch
bro.
college football and then not getting it. Like, it's okay to just not understand college football and want to watch it from like an NFL prospect standpoint, but just don't speak on it. Like, it's just that was a beautiful football game.
Even
It
before
was sloppy. That's part of it. Like, there's rain and it came down to the wire. It was chippy. Like, that's everything I want.
I mean, I have a lot of things to say, but I mean, I agree with you though. Like, even before the scoring started in that one, like when the first quarter, when there was a turnover fest, 2 of them in the red zone, like, that was fun football to watch, especially with the elements and whatnot. I do think they got to stop doing this overseas week 0 game because
it's not good for
the old quote, like, you don't have the facilities for that, bruv. Like, y'all, other countries just don't have the facilities to really put on like the what it requires nowadays in 2025 a college football game. All it requires, they just don't. I mean, having to repaint the lines on the field at halftime,
and then they're trying to spot the ball in an important 4th down. There's no reference points.
A 4th and 1 that pretty much decides the game at the end of it. I mean, there's no lines on the field. There's really no way to measure it. And that was a crazy thing as well. I mean, obviously Dylan getting hurt on his first touch of the game, trying to return a punt and not playing the rest of the game, obviously hurt K-State's chances to win that game. I don't know. I think if he plays, they probably win the game.
Clearly a massive role for that. It had a massive role
exactly.
on that team.
And people mentioned it, like, even early in that game, K-State was using a lot of 2 running back sets. And
he was supposed to be out there.
Their backup looked really good too. It was the 3rd one who really didn't give him much, but like the other running back,
number 4,
yes, he looked good. And imagine him and Dylan back there, like, they had something. But either way, it was a fun game. I don't think we can take too much about either of these teams off of that game, but they're both good teams. I think that much is clear.
Yeah. If I'm a K-State fan, I am bringing a pitchfork to the athletic director's house.
For real, man.
They gave away a home game in a rivalry.
A home conference rival game, bro.
To travel across the world
in week
to
0.
play in a hurricane in week 0. What the hell was going through your mind when you agreed to that?
Seriously.
Like Iowa State, they were just like, we just got to win this. I don't care how it looks. We got to get out of here with a dub. We have to.
And they didn't have to give up a home game for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, Kansas State gave up a home game for that. Now they've got their quarterback's dad and brother throwing hands. Your season is so doomed.
It's done.
How do you come back from this?
It's going to be hard to do that, dude.
Bro, their whole entire arc was altered by an idiotic decision. So I'm with you, bro. I like the idea of let's grow the game.
Yes.
The magic of college football cannot be captured in Dublin, Ireland. And it's...
Do that for bowl games or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That would be a great idea.
Yeah.
But the college football is meant to be played on college campuses.
Yes.
That's what makes it special.
Yes.
The pageantry, all that stuff comes with being in like a college town. And so all around, like the L for Kansas State is like 12 times the size of the W for Iowa State, in my opinion.
Totally. 100% with you on that.
I will say it's going to be hard for K-State to bounce back from this, but I will say if they go on to, let's just say they only lose 1 or 2 more games the rest of the year, I think it is going to be very easy for, let's call it, the committee to like just throw away that week 0 game. It was in Ireland. They lost it by a field goal. Their best offensive player, non-quarterback, got hurt on the first touch. I'm just saying, I feel like it would.
I don't care.
They would. No, I agree. But I'm just saying, like a committee, if it came down to that, would probably be willing to throw that game out. But we'll see what ends up happening.
Well, they're going to have to hope that Iowa State falters.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because maybe not. That might hurt them if Iowa State turns out to not be.
Well,
a good
no,
team.
to get
I'm saying if that comes down to a tiebreaker between them and Iowa State.
Yeah, to get to what you're talking to, it would have to be Iowa. They're literally tied at the end of the season for them to even consider like throwing out that.
How are they going to throw it a head-to-head?
That's what I was going to say too. Like this is head-to-head. Like to me, that matters almost more than anything. I don't care where it's played in a certain way. On the game though, I mean, Iowa State's defense really impressed me, man. They shut down Kansas State's running attack. Even Avery, when he was kind of doing some things early in the running game, you know, like they were just flying downfield, man. They're a great defense to watch.
Really quick, RJ said, y'all tripping, what's the difference between playing in Jerry World or Ireland? I mean, a lot. They shouldn't play in Jerry World either.
You don't need to get a passport for one.
I don't.
The crowd will still be mostly American.
Yes.
And watch football
the lines
for the
will
most
be on
of their
the field.
lives. Right.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you eliminate like a huge portion of a fan base by putting it that far away.
Exactly.
But to me, like, don't play games in Jerry World either.
Sure.
College games, college campuses.
Yeah. No, if it's not a bowl game or a CFP, like, shoot, even the first round, give me those home playoff games. Quarterfinals on, put them wherever. I don't care.
Yeah.
Shout out Rocco Becht, man. I told y'all this guy's a baller, bro. I know the stats don't necessarily reflect it.
They don't. But he looked.
Did you watch the game?
Yes. And he looked.
He did exactly what you said he would do, which was he operated the offense cleanly.
Yeah.
He did. In unclean conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I was impressed.
Running the ball, like, I mean, honestly, just not taking stupid throws. Like, on some of the sacks he took, it's like, that's kind of the best play you could do right there. Obviously, other than hitting the open guy. But
on the other side of that, if you would have told me before the game, Avery Johnson has 300 total yards of offense,
right,
3 touchdowns, 0 turnovers, I'd be like, oh, K-State rolls.
Yeah.
But if you also tell me Dylan Edwards gets hurt on his first opportunity, his first touch, and doesn't play the rest of the game, I'm like, oh, they probably lose. So it's, I don't know.
What? Give me like a comp for Dylan Edwards for another team, because like it certainly hurt them a lot, but I don't think it was like a type of thing where it's like if you don't have him, you're doomed.
I don't want to make a Colorado comp, but
I was about to.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's like if the Buffs lost Draylon. Like it's a big piece for sure.
It's a big piece for sure. Yeah,
but I don't know if you're.
It's
broken.
Knock on wood for you.
I don't know if that's a 1 of 1 either, though, because like
no, of course not.
Because especially with Colorado, like lose any of those 1 receivers, like I feel like everybody still feels pretty good about the room and whatnot. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny because Avery's stats look incredible.
They really do.
And he didn't
play
incredible.
that well. No.
And Rocco's stats look very paltry, and he looked pretty freaking good to me.
For sure.
Kansas. I did not get to watch much of this game, to be completely honest. You watched quite a bit of it, sounds like.
Yeah. Couldn't have been more wrong on my part, thinking that Fresno was going to
I'll raise my hand, too.
Yeah, hand up. Thinking that Fresno was going to be able to hang with Kansas. Kansas looked really good. But I just remember last year when we were playing North Dakota State being like, Jesus, they are scheming it up right now. Like, what is happening? Every single play feels like it's like their best play, you know, like the 4th down, gotta have it type of play. And that's what I felt like watching Kansas. Their game plan offensively was immaculate. So credit to their coaching staff, man. They had that team ready to play. E.J. Warner was not the guy that he looked like at his best at Rice last year. I think he ended up throwing 3 picks.
Yeah.
And maybe a fumble as well. So, yeah. You can never overreact too much to these games, or you can easily overreact too much to these games. But Kansas looks for real.
Y'all perspective change on them at all?
I mean, a little bit, to be completely honest. Just hearing the stuff coming out of the game about recruits, talking about the atmosphere and how the new stadium is kind of like a big benefit for them as a fan base.
I saw
and
that.
Just being at home, man, not having to travel, whatever it was, 30, 45 minutes to Arrowhead every week to play a game. Like, you're right there on campus again. Like, it's just more normal for them. Like, if Jalen Daniels keeps playing like that, yeah, they'll make some noise in this conference.
If he keeps playing like that, they will make some noise in this conference. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't bet on it. That's just me, though.
I'm with you.
That's just me.
We're headed to overtime. If you're watching on your television, head on over to DNVR.com. We're going to wrap up the show over there.
Also, hit us with a like. Potentially become a supporters club member. $5 a month to support the squad. Get custom emojis that you can drop in the chat that no one else can. You'll get a little badge next to you that shows you're a member of the supporters club. And the earlier you get on it, the earlier your badge will get upgraded, telling you how long you have, telling everyone how long you've been a member of the supporters club, so you can flex on everyone that you were a founding member.
I love that in the top right. True sicko level stuff. Hell yeah.
That's what this fan base is all about.
Swear.
Sicko level excitement.
This fan base is definitely ready for a football game.
Great tweet basically saying that over the weekend.
Bro.
Perfectly timed.
I'm just sitting there watching everything. It was multiple things going on.
It's crazy.
I was like, can we just get a football game in? We need to talk ball. This is crazy.
Yep. Anything else today before we head on to the Toyota chat and get to questions? Any Hawaii takes?
What Stanford takes?
I didn't get to watch that game too much.
Me either. I felt I don't know. I don't have any takes.
Stanford looked like they belonged on the field with Hawaii.
Which is a crazy
That's a
statement.
wild sentence.
You know what I'm saying? Though?
Yes,
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
Like that just looked like
I know.
this should be a conference matchup like mid-season.
Yeah.
For sure.
Alrighty. To the Toyota chat we go. Chief Smokes says, bro, I'm on the edge of just buying a plane ticket to Denver Friday morning and pulling a 36-hour trip. Help push me over. All in. Triple cost $500.
Send it.
Do it.
Could be a lot worse. $500.
Tailgate's free.
I mean, totally.
So that, negates some of your costs right there.
Yeah. Come through, Chief Smokes. Michael A. asked me what position I played in high school. I played wide receiver. I was there. I did a little bit of things. I wasn't anything crazy.
You showed me a play. You showed me and RC a play a couple weeks ago. I'm like, bro, who is this, bro? I'm like, it's not you, bro. Why are you showing me a play of this random high school football player, bro? But my boy Jake was getting loose on him.
It's wild because he's always putting the rock on the ground and throwing it around.
That's true. That's why I was surprised. I'm like, no, this is not you, bro. Be for real.
B-Bad's in the chat.
What's up, Bryce? How are we feeling about stopping Jamal Haynes, boys?
This is the, anxiety of any fan base going into a week one game. Like, these are things that you just don't know.
Yeah.
Last year, we felt the same way. Remember, 2 years ago, we got run on every single game. It was painful to watch.
Yeah.
Last year, we were like, okay, we think it's going to look better. And if you remember, against North Dakota State, the running backs did very little. Mm-hmm. Did an incredible job of stopping the run. And it was finally like a relief. And then, of course, the quarterbacks, ran well.
Yeah.
But this is one of those things that you just never know until you see it. You got a young front. You got new linebackers. But I feel confident that Robert Livingston will be able to get the team in a position to achieve their number one goal going into any game. And I think the number one goal going into this game 100% is stopping the run.
Well said, bro. I feel confident to answer your question, B-Bads, and it's because of what you just talked about or alluded to, RK, and it's Robert Livingston. I'll never forget one of the first things he said when he took the job last year. He was like, my thing is trying to, and it's a Bill Belichick thing, try to make your opponent play with their left hand. Whatever they do best, take that away and make them do what they do second best or third best. Make that their priority. And I think, obviously, Jamal Haynes, and in addition to that, Haynes King, those two guys running the football is Georgia Tech's bread and butter. And I know Robert Livingston knows that, and I know that defense is going to be locked in on stopping that and making Haynes King throw the football or making them win another way.
Yeah, I mean, just to go deeper on Coach Livingston, I mean, him and George Hilo can scheme up how to fit a run, man. And with that clip we played earlier, I mean, Hilo was kind of talking, or Livingston was talking about Hilo, and how much he values his input. I have faith in those guys. I have faith in the players that we have in that front seven, and I think that they're gonna have a good chance.
I love that you mentioned Hilo, bro, because we were on campus earlier after presser, and we're walking through the weight room to shoot our takeaways.
Yeah.
And George Hilo is the only one in there going through a workout. I mean, my boy is sweating. The hair looks crazy. I mean, that boy, like, he got a game this weekend, and George Hilo been had them boys locked in.
Yep. Julius asks, any visits this weekend? I doubt it. So the dead period actually doesn't end till like Thursday or Friday. And of course, with this game being on Friday, like high school players usually play Fridays, Saturday mornings, you know what I mean? Thursday nights. So we'll see. I doubt it though, but I'll try and find out.
Wow. Real quick, someone asked about there it is, the tailgate. Tailgate is on Benson Field. You won't miss us. You want to know why? Because over 200 people have already RSVP'd.
Oh man!
So we are throwing ourselves a
Hell
party on Benson Field this weekend, man, or this Friday.
Yep.
Can't wait to see you guys there. We're gonna have a blast.
Super chats, we go. Hit the like button also, by the way. Subscribe to the channel. We greatly appreciate it. The only Dub Ace says, game week, lock TF in.
Now, is that Dub Ace or is that Dubachi? I'm seeing Dubachi. Comment.
I think
comment. Let us know. I want to know.
Dubachi would have 2 C's, wouldn't it?
Maybe. Potentially.
Because Versace doesn't.
Exactly right. That's why I'm like, I don't know. When I saw that, I'm like, Dubachi, but we'll see.
King season. Georgia Tech was #1 in the ACC last year for average viewership.
That's
okay.
I didn't know that. That's pretty crazy.
I mean, Atlanta's a massive market.
It's true. It's true.
If I had to guess, I bet you that Georgia game did some heavy
that
ass
too.
lifting.
Yeah.
For that.
Florida State, it's a season opener too.
They played Miami late in the year too when they were ranked.
That was a close game, wasn't it?
Yeah. 28-23. They won.
That was what knocked off Miami from being undefeated.
Sure was.
Dub Ace.
Damn. All right, that's cool. That's still cool. Still cool.
Warren G says, did I miss NFL talk? Don't think Shedeur will play for the Browns in 2025. I think he is the best quarterback, but has to throw the ball away and not take big yardage sacks. Oh, boy.
You did not miss the NFL
yes,
talk,
you definitely
Warren
did not
G.
miss it today.
You did not
That
miss
could
it.
be a whole show.
Truly.
I can't even get started. Can't even get started on it. Don Peasy says,
Shedeur's going to be all right, though.
Oh, God.
I have faith in that, yes. Shout out Don Peasy for becoming a member.
Peasy.
Hell yeah, Peasy.
And here he is with the super chat also. Do y'all think it's possible for CU to come out with Juju, but Caden getting the most play time to totally screw with Tech's defensive tools? I think you could. I just don't know how much you actually gain from doing that, though. Like, yeah, for one play, it might be like, oh, like, what's going on here? But then it's like Caden goes out there and it's 2 backs and they're running RPO read option. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's just it would be a fun little wrinkle to throw at them. Whereas, like, they're getting, they've been talking about one thing all week. They run out there. CU runs out 5 wide receivers and Julian. Yeah. And it's like, whoa.
Sure.
And, like, the coordinator's, like, jumping up and down trying to get him. Like, you could get him a little off guard.
Or what if they just went first play timeout? Like, nope. Didn't like this look. Didn't expect this.
I mean,
timeout. That'd
if
be
they
crazy.
get that is 100%.
That would be worth it
yes.
for sure.
Yeah. What game was I watching the other? Maybe was it the Broncos preseason game where they had to burn a bunch? Someone had to burn a bunch of timeouts. I feel like I was watching a game the other day where someone got in an uncomfortable position and started burning timeouts.
No, we're saving the crash out for a later time. That's it for today, chat. I mean, seriously, we dropped like 7 pieces of content today.
Go get it.
Practice takeaways, press conference takeaways, this show, obviously, 2 articles, our conversation with Bryce from the crowded booth. Did I miss anything?
Just that this is just the beginning. It's
Just the
only
beginning.
Monday, but it is game week. And we finna have it locked here all damn week.
Let's go.
I'm saving the crash outs for Buffs football games now, I think. Last minute super chat from Frank. Very eager to see this O-line in this run game. Also just became a diehard today. Go.
Hell
Let's
yeah,
go, Frank.
Frank.
Come
Hell
on.
yeah.
Be more like Frank. Shout out Stoney, just
yeah.
becoming a member.
Stoney.
Oh, we might never end this show.
Yeah, seriously. Keep it coming.
Who
Remember,
next? Who
keep it
next?
going. Yeah.
So if we're going to keep this show going, Shedeur saying, I'm just kidding.
All right, y'all. Head to the main YouTube page. I would like the front page of the channel if you want to become a member. We appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Pre-game show Thursday, post-game show Friday. Oh, man. Feels so good to be back.
Back, boys.
Coach Prime Presser tomorrow. We'll see y'all then. Let's go Buffs.
Let's go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.